Hello and welcome to the Little Red Block podcast. We want to share with you our thoughts and feelings from everything from movies to tech. That's why we're putting out this test episode to gather your feedback on how we can make it better. Enjoy!
Thank you for joining us, and to kick off today's show, here's an introduction to the team. I'm Hanok.
I'm Eric.
I'm Darren.
And I'm Anthony.
Excellent. So, what have you guys been up to there this week?
Well, in my case, I've just been ill. Thanks to the Super Bowl Super Bash party and walking home early in the morning, so I've been frozen. But apart from that, just normal teaching old people and all that stuff. So, yeah.
Where was the Super Bash?
At the O2, the Indigo. You guys know about the Indigo?
Never been there.
Yeah, it's that little tiny thing next to the O2 main exhibition centre. And it was pretty cool. The NFL UK set it all up, so there was like a stage where they had Gold Tate or whatever, an NFL player. One of those players. Yeah, he was there, and there was these guys doing beatboxing, and there was a group singing. So it was pretty awesome.
So loads of stuff linked to American football.
Yes.
Cheerleaders?
No, yes, there was. I think it was the Kansas. Yeah, I can't believe I forgot about the cheerleaders. Kansas City cheerleaders. Yeah, I was ill, man. But the thing that I really enjoyed was that they gave us free beer and free food.
Do you feel that they're trying to kind of con us into accepting American
Oh,
football?
for sure. Yeah, that's definite. Yeah.
Well, they tried like quite a while ago, and at one point you had loads of London NFL teams as well.
Tottenham are doing that. So Tottenham are trying to have a spin-off NFL team to raise extra revenue.
We don't talk about Tottenham on this.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about football. But I think ever since Sky got the rights to show American football, it's been rammed down our throats. It's almost like you have to accept American football.
Mm-hmm.
It's been billed as this is the next big sport to hit the United Kingdom. It's not. You're making us take it on as the next big sport.
And NBA is kind of similar as well. So
Yeah.
you've already got tickets on sale for whenever their teams come over in October.
Yeah, but that's not on
Really
TV.
good
though,
in
is it?
January.
I don't really see basketball on TV much. That's the next one then, I suppose.
Yeah, it seems to be.
But I think they're looking to have a new franchise team in London.
It's the
logistics. I don't know how the hell's that's going to work, but
Yeah, but the problem is, it's like now they're having proper NFL games in the UK. That means that the actual fans Americans have to travel over here to see an official game, and even changing the times. So it's a day, a early start for us. But it feels that it's like, just imagine we're going to see our Premiership game, and it's been held in some random Asian country. And,
there's talks of that, isn't there?
Exactly, that's what. Well, but it just feels a little bit. Do we need to? I mean, I went to see the Super Bowl. I stayed up because I was willing to. I got free tickets, but I wanted to see the Super Bowl game, but the time difference. If you're a proper fan, fair enough. The time difference should be a problem, but to change it to get new fans involved. I don't know.
Well, you can see it as being like a bit of curiosity for people like yourself who would just go and see it once and then see how it goes. But it does seem a bit.
But could it just be there's a lot of expats, a lot of Americans over there that may not necessarily support those teams, but the opportunity to go and see some live football again?
Well, the thing that really gets me is like, it's fair you do that, but there's so many advert crammed. So it's, you think you're buying a ticket, you're putting money into it, but in all the adverts, it's unbelievable. I think I need beer. I get really emotional when it comes to adverts.
I thought it was about money.
Yeah, it was about money. But I was saying, and obviously they have their massive advert. I mean, American football is very slow, so they have to fill in gaps. But it was hilarious. Even that when you see them on the sidelines and they're all holding, Microsoft Surfaces, and they don't know how to use it, and they're like, they're just touching the screen and then it's there. But you could see they do zoom in and you see all the Microsoft Surface tablets there, and they just, it's all advertising, it's force fed, and you see they're showing the game and stuff. At the end of the day, pen and paper would do the job. So Yeah. So it just feels that even the sport in itself, it's not really sport.
It's just an advertising campaign.
Money.
It reminds me. I don't know if you've seen what's that brewery? Is it Newcastle?
Newcastle Brown?
Yeah, Newcastle Brown. Basically, they had a segment, and because they couldn't afford the big budget to advertise, so what they've done is they got all the different small brands that are advertising for this Super Bowl, and they made this quirky advert where this couple, all of a sudden, their whole conversation revolves around the brands, and this guy is there and he's like, oh, look honey, blah blah blah,
Nice.
let's explore it, we've just bought from here, and the way they've done it, they've just put all their budgets together and created this advert.
Like
Watch this video.
aggregated advertising.
Yeah, it's brilliant, really good.
That's
Yeah.
clever.
So yeah, worthwhile watching.
That's clever.
Look at the segment on that.
I think in terms of kind of what I've been up to, I think it's been a mixture of different things really, because we're trying to buy a house at the moment, so a lot of it's kind of on the phone to lawyers backwards and forwards, so not much fun. But I've been playing a couple of computer games. I've been playing Battlefield Hardline. They've released is it beta or beta over here? What do we say?
Beta.
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 I say beta.
I say beta.
I say beta. So we're playing a beta of that, which is
say
interesting. you had a go as well today, didn't you? You're not bought into the whole Battlefield franchise.
I'm not a massive fan of Battlefields. I much prefer my games to be a bit arcadey. For me, just a bit of fun rather than concentration constantly. So I got killed a lot, which is probably why I didn't enjoy it so much. But yeah, it was okay. It looked great for beta.
We got to say
Tomato. I think it's done a good job of showing you kind of the mechanics of how it's going to work, how you've got to work as a team, otherwise it's not going to work.
I think it's quite quirky because it's for Battlefield. It used to just be you've got two militaries and you've got these massive open maps, and it's about obviously defeating the opposition by capturing an area or whatever. This one's slightly different because they've gone for like a cops and robbers kind of feel to it.
Yeah.
So they've got new game types. You've got like heist, which is the whole cops and robbers thing. They've got hotwire, which is like the standard kind of capture a base, but the base is a car. So you hotwire the car and the target is moving.
Okay.
So it's down to the other team to
That's
stop
cool.
you and obviously either blow up the car or get you out and take that car. And the longer you drive and the faster you drive in that car, the more points you win for your team, which means you're nearer to winning.
And if being Battlefield, someone can just pull out a rocket launcher and...
Pretty much. 9 times out of 10, that's what they do to me. I don't think I was in a car much.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I was probably more in the menu trying to redeploy.
Yeah.
But it looks good, and obviously they've got the traditional menus, maps there, so you can do the larger scale conquest kind of and rush maps. So I think it's going to be interesting. It's early days. I've only been playing it for about a day, but hopefully when the game's out and ready, we'll be able to do a little bit more kind of coverage on it. But it was good fun.
Cool. What platform was that?
Xbox. So I've been on the Xbox One. I think it's on PS4. I'm not sure actually. I think it might be.
I think
Sometimes
it's also
it's
on
exclusive.
360 and PS3.
Yeah.
Because logged into 360 a couple of days ago, I'm pretty sure I saw you can download the beta there as well.
Yeah. So it's good fun. Good fun.
Yeah, I've been playing Dying Light, and it's been brilliant. I've really enjoyed it. I've been playing it on the PC, and it's a zombie apocalyptic world. You're an agent. You've been thrown in, trying to find out what's happened in this particular map, and the map for it is huge. And I've enjoyed it a lot. So I definitely recommend that for you.
They had an amazing trailer at E3 last year, and I think the creator of that also made Dead Island. So definitely check out that trailer because that's brilliant.
One of my
bit of an
favourite
old
trailers
game.
for a game.
It's one of my favourite trailers as well for a game. The game itself didn't live up to it, but Dying Light sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Particularly actually creating weapons. It's not as if you're just going to find a gun on the floor and
Yeah.
or anything. You've actually got to create things.
Yeah.
It's like the whole nail through a plank of wood type thing, right?
Yeah,
Nice.
exactly. So it looks quite awesome. I can't wait to play it.
Is that only on PC though?
No, it'll also be available on Xbox and PlayStation, I think.
Yeah.
So,
For me, also a bit of gaming, but we'll get onto films and things, I think, a bit later. But I've been going a bit old school with things again. So I was playing a game called Castlevania Dracula X, which I'm pretty sure none of you have played before.
No.
But it just reminds me, it's a really old school platformer from back in the day, where it's 3 lives, that's it, you're done completely, and you've got to restart from the complete start of the game.
I can't do that.
And I love those games. They're just trial and error all the way through. Every time you die, it's your fault, and I must get back and complete that game.
Can't do that.
So yeah, I've been very close to chucking my Vita away a couple of times. But yeah, apart from that, there's been like a lot of stuff happening with TV and movies as well. So finally caught up on Arrow and The Flash.
Oh yeah.
You either love them or hate them really. Flash is okay for me. For a lot of people, it's a bit too kiddified. Arrow, I think, has been progressing well throughout the seasons. Season 1 was a bit slow. Season 2 I thought was really good. Season 3 is setting up like a completely wider universe with the crossover with the Flash. There's references to Batman, Superman, Green Lantern. There's so many crossover opportunities for that program.
Not that I want to say that I'm a snob, but I thought the acting on it is just it's poor.
You're not being a snob. You're not being a snob.
I wouldn't say it's poor. It's cheesy, definitely.
Very cheesy.
But then you've got to remember the source material that all of this comes from, which is comic books.
Yeah.
And they're not a lot of comic books. I'm not saying that all comic books aren't exactly like great tomes of work that you're going to go back and read constantly. There are kind of standout things like Watchmen and whatever else. But generally, you're just looking at people hitting each other a lot when it comes to comic books, with a bit of character development.
It's just
the only thing that annoys, the only thing that annoys me about pretty much every superhero comic adaptation that you've got is there's always got to be a love story and stuff. It just annoys the crap out of me because it takes it away from this person is meant to be a hero saving people to I'm so conflicted because I love him, I hate him, I love him, I hate him. I absolutely hate all that stuff.
I can't fall in love with this girl because
it's too dangerous.
It's too dangerous for her. Oh, shut up.
Yeah,
so annoying.
That's when you need to get lost.
But also, I think that whole concept of freak of the week is
Smallville.
Is done. I mean, I loved, and I got ridiculed for years from you guys about this, but I loved Smallville, and I still love Supernatural as well.
Whoa.
And I think
You still watch that?
I still watch it. I was like 10 or 11 or something like that. I still watch it, and I love that. But because I'm bought in, there's a legacy, right? I was invested for 10 years in these shows. But I can't get it now. I think the only one I started watching Constantine on Netflix. Was it Amazon Prime or Netflix? One of the two. And I struggled with that because it's like I've seen all this before. It's just a bit kind of samey, and I think that TV shows, apart from the odd exception, seem to be kind of rehashing the same old stuff. I mean, you'll have people like Game of Thrones and Breaking Bad, and you've got Walking Dead. It's something very, very different, and you kind of go, this is epic.
I wouldn't say it's different. It's just it's the first time that it's been put into a TV series. So before the high fantasy kind of stuff, you had Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, whatever else. With zombies, obviously you've got God knows how many zombie movies.
I know, but they're movies, right?
They are movies, but they've been translated quite well across to TV series. The problem with superhero ones is that we've had, before this you had radio, that's how Superman started, and like widespread media, I guess. Then you have had little TV shows like The Incredible Hulk or Spider-Man with this crappy costume, or Batman during the 60s when he's going up the side of the wall when you know they're just walking along. So that's different. So you see all of these tropes.
I think we've lost the camera.
Have we?
Yeah.
You see all of these tropes constantly now because we've seen them even before we were born. They were kind of the same. It's just recycling the same stuff. With the high fantasy, that's never really been around before. That is very much very hardcore geek culture, which is now coming to the fore. Zombies, before, you talk to anyone older than us really, zombies are whatever, but for us it's really captures our imagination.
Well, I think it's weird. You see the kind of influx of epic TV over the last couple of years, right? So Game of Thrones probably kicked it off in terms of this is like the biggest budget to ever go to a TV show. It is a movie over multiple years, over multiple hours. But I think we're seeing too much of it now. You see, like Fortitude was released a couple of weeks ago on Sky, saying this is the most expensive thing ever. You had Fargo TV series, you had things like Broadchurch, all these things that people are investing. It's almost like the HBO model, but everyone else is going into.
Yeah.
Broadchurch is really good though, and it's not.
I'm not saying it's not good.
No, it's not. I can't say that they spent a massive amount of money on it because it doesn't feel that way.
Yeah.
There are certain programs where you look at it and think, God, they must have spent a lot of money on this. Like The Walking Dead and Game of Thrones, you've still got these very small stories like Sherlock, Elementary, and whatever else going on in the backgrounds, which are still semi-intelligent TV.
Yeah.
That don't actually have to spend a lot of money. It's the ones like you were saying, Fortitude, where I didn't even know that it was one of the most expensive programs because to me it doesn't look that way at all unless they're spending
It's all white.
Yeah. And unless they're spending it on antifreeze or something.
It was the other way around actually. They had to ship snow from the UK to Iceland because they had one of their snow drought. I'm guessing that's probably the only drought. That's probably the only way to do it, right?
In Iceland.
Yeah, in Iceland they had a snow drought.
irony.
So they had to ship over all this snow to Iceland so they could record this TV show. I mean that's in order to them to consider. Where in Iceland there's not enough snow, let's ship it over from the UK.
Yeah.
They must have money to burn, right?
What's the storyline?
I don't know.
Yeah, I guess you've not seen it.
Well, I watched the first episode. I've got the second episode on Sky Plus, and I got to the end of the first episode, and it didn't really answer any questions. But sometimes the best shows don't answer it. I mean, if you have to think about TV, then normally that's good TV, right?
Yeah.
I think you said around intelligent TV. And then you've got the likes of Flash and those guys, which are you can't leave the audience to assume things. Let's ram every answer down their throat.
Yeah.
So you have to go, for example, Gotham. You have the Riddler, and we know he's the Riddler because he's called Edward Nigma, right? So you don't have to have the first time he's on the screen going, I've got a riddle for you. You don't need to do that. That's just making the assumption is you're going for the lowest common denominator that everyone is stupid.
I was reading through some forums though, and what a lot of people are saying is that we know who the character's going to be, but did anyone know that the Riddler's name was Edward Nigma?
We knew,
but for the audience that they're going for, because this is a lot of it is going to be primetime TV.
Yeah.
No, they don't know who those people are. So yes, they are going to.
But I think
explain away. And yes, it is frustrating for the ones of us who actually know it, who know about the character previously. But it's a catch-22 because if they market it as broadly as possible because they want as many people to watch it as possible. So they're kind of like cutting out all of the comic book fans or people who know about that. There's not many people who wouldn't have seen a Batman iteration at one point or another, whereas it's from the 60s or the horrible Joel Schumacher films or whatever else. Yeah. But these are purely for new people who wouldn't be interested in that before.
But I think if they were brave enough, basically they're new viewers to them as new clients.
Yeah.
So if they stayed at a level of intelligence and people that know about the storyline, we know all the characters. People who don't know the storyline, let them, end up discovering the characters for themselves instead of being told, because it might be an actual pleasant surprise if you know nothing about Batman and then you're listening to watching Gotham and then suddenly you go, oh, he was Riddler. Oh my gosh, he was in it all this time.
It's almost as a reveal, right? You go, oh wow, I didn't even know that was Riddler.
Exactly.
You almost feel as though, oh, he sneaked that in. How clever, rather than ramming it. Riddle it is. Shut up and stop ramming things down our throats.
Exactly.
You've really got that Jim Carrey thing. Riddle me this.
Fair enough. And Val Kilmer going, it has faces, it tells the time. Is it a clock?
But also the big problem is it's all about money, and it's understandable if producers are putting money into this. They need to have a guarantee as well, and the first episode has to get a hook, and keep these viewers, staying on this series. Also, the problem, what you were saying, right down to the beginning, it was like, now we're getting too many of these epic TV series, and now you have to devote time to an actual series. You have to say, right, I'm going to be watching this series. I know that it's going to come, once a week, and I can watch it. But then, if you've got like 5 or 6. You're not going to have any time to watch anything else.
We are quite privileged though, because growing up, all we had were EastEnders, Coronation Street, Hollyoaks, Home and Away, whatever else.
I think we're too old about Hollyoaks.
Well, still watching Hollyoaks. And now we've got, like I said, so many options, but it's better than a lot fewer.
But then, I would say it's down to the argument, quality over quantity.
Oh, yeah.
That could be. Yeah. I do like the option that we do have a lot, but it comes to a point where each time we talk about something and it's like, oh, spoiler alert, because people haven't seen it.
I think you're right though, that entertainment seems to be changing. I was reading up on, so I've got Amazon Prime, and there was a pilot show that they just put on there, which is The Man in the High Castle, which is a Philip K. Dick book. It's basically set around fallout of the Second World War, where the Germans and the Japanese won. And what they do is they split the United States up into two sections. So you have the Pacific Japanese states, and then you have the larger part, which is the Eastern Seaboard, and going into the Midwest, which is controlled by Nazi Germany. And it was I absolutely loved it as a book, and they've just done a pilot for that, but they've just released one episode. So what they're doing is people are putting together pilots, they're putting it out there as a pilot on streaming services, hoping that they then see if people go, I like this or I don't like it, and then making the decision to do an investment. So the investment isn't around a table of executives at a big production company saying, yes, we like it, no, we don't. It's down to us as consumers to say thumbs up or thumbs down as to how programs are getting made.
It is quite interesting.
Yeah, this is like the trend now of everything though, so in terms of like the whole crowdfunding and the crowdsourcing, etc. So that's
Giving the people what they want.
Giving the people what they want. If you like it, we'll develop it.
It is annoying though, because it is not just across films or games or anything. It is across everything at the moment. So releasing beta for Hardline, normally that's down to a couple of testers to go through. Now we're seeing that everyone is trialling everything, so you've got an alpha, beta, a pre-release version that everyone gets involved in, and stuff is still being released that isn't up to scratch. So you're still seeing things like Assassin's Creed, Destiny, loads of games, programs where the pilots have done really well, and then the rest of the program's actually not been so great.
That's been going on for years. You look at Microsoft, right? Their operating systems over the last God knows how many years have always been released with bugs.
Yeah.
So Windows 8, how long was it before 8.1 was released? Pretty damn quickly, because they put something out there that was substandard.
Everyone hated it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it was substandard from what I know of it. Obviously, it was a complete change to their operating system, and they assumed that devices would be used a lot faster, and forgot about the people on desktops, basically. People were very used to an operating system that they know. They took pretty much all of it away and said, right, you've got to relearn everything that you already know.
I agree, and 8.1 is actually a dumbing down of Windows 8.
Yeah.
Because they just added stuff that they took away.
Sorry, man.
It's like, oh, you do need this and you do need that.
Yeah.
So I remember the first time I used Windows 8, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this is cool, this is neat, now I want to do my proper work.
Yeah.
What the hell am I doing? It's just like, what's this? And each time you get a swipe, and I had a touch screen, it's like,
it'd be interesting. My company's gone. We've got we're on XP, and our Microsoft packages are on 2003, and we're doing
So that's security risk everywhere.
Exactly. And we're going to the new Windows 8.1, and it's going to be a challenge.
Could be worse. You could be on Windows 98.
Very true.
But yeah, apparently that's a massive problem for a lot of government organisations, is that they're running a version of Windows which is so out of date and it's so unsecure that they have to bring in consultants to shore up their.
But it must be so expensive for organisations, right? So Windows 8, 8.1 is what, a year, 2 years old? And already now we're skipping Windows 9 and we're going straight to Windows 10.
Yeah.
So
we're not skipping Windows 9. I did read up on this. It is a rename because it might get confusing to users. If you type in Windows 9, it comes up with Windows 98 and everything that they've done previously.
Right. Okay.
So they didn't want people to get confused, is one argument for it.
It's all around search engine optimization.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or they just thought, yeah, it sounds a lot better.
Well, they're also changing over their Internet Explorer, aren't they?
Yeah.
Something, it's
Spartan.
named Spartan,
Yeah.
which I love because I was just playing Halo, finished Halo 1 year.
And Cortana, obviously.
Yeah.
So the Halo universe is
Yeah.
slowly eking its way into
Yeah,
one.
I think that's genius how they've done that.
Yeah. So eventually it won't be called Windows, it will just be called Master Chief.
Yeah.
Nice.
It'll be quite good. Or just Halo.
Yeah. Which this actually leads us on to what's coming out soon in terms of in the cinema, and we've got Jupiter Ascending. Will you see? Will you not?
I was a massive fan of The Matrix, 1, 2 and 3. I know a lot of people.
controversial.
I know a lot of people like the first one, love the first one. It was amazing
I
when
think
it came
everyone
out.
loves the first one.
But 2 and 3 less so for a lot of people. For me, I could see what they were doing with the entire universe there, so I'm interested to see what they do with Jupiter Ascending. Saying that, I've heard reviews saying it's pretty awful. That if you take it just on face value, it's just another big sci-fi story.
Well, my biggest issue is like I saw a clip and there's Channing Tatum and
Even full stop.
yeah, I was like,
That's the biggest issue is Channing Tatum.
No, but it's like for me, if they couldn't even dye his hair properly in the movie, then they won't be able
It's
to
got
make
really
a movie.
nice eyeliner that I've noticed.
Oh really?
Apparently he's spoilers. So you've got people who are genetically crossed with other animals. So he's genetically crossed with a wolf or something, which might explain.
Then it should be
the
grey.
eyeliner.
His hair should be.
Yeah.
At least they got me
Yeah.
Kunis.
So I think the overriding kind of feeling for me is
No.
no, I'm not going to spend £10 nowadays to go to the cinema to watch something.
My biggest problem with that argument is that I think it would be epic on something really big on IMAX.
Yeah.
So I would have said, yeah, I'm gonna wait till it comes out on either streaming or Blu-ray, but because it's gonna be epic, I feel, then I might end up spending extra money that I would spend
Everyone,
just to see.
everyone has
just to
already
see.
said how gorgeous it is, and like one of my regrets is not watching again controversial film about Avatar on IMAX.
Yeah.
Just see the world presented to you. I'm not saying whether it's a good film or not,
Yeah.
but you've got to appreciate what's being done.
Yeah.
And
I think
what's
we all
being
agree
shown to you.
that Avatar was visually stunning. It's just
Absolutely.
it was, and now they're coming out with three
They're doing 3 further films, I think.
sequels. Yeah.
But yeah, I think it would be a missed opportunity if you didn't do that. Plus, it's one of those films that it's one of those old space operas, I
Yeah.
guess. So along the lines of Star Wars, obviously it's not going to won't get that kind of following. But it will get a cult following, just like the Matrix trilogy did,
Yeah.
Avatar does, even fans of Prometheus, with all the alien films. So there's going to be people who like it, but the amount of money they spent versus the amount of money they're going to get back from it.
Well, the thing is,
Can't see
I
that.
kind of like the idea that their film producer would come out and say, well, let's make a movie and make a movie just for that type of people, rather than let's make a movie that will make everybody
Generic.
happy, because then at the end of the day, the movie is neither here or there. So sometimes the movie won't make that much money, but nowadays they always find a way of making
Well, you
money,
look at
so.
Dread, and it's one of my favourite films of last year, and it did so badly at cinema.
I haven't seen it.
It
What?
has
Yeah.
cinema.
It was, and it's such a fantastic film. And I'm not saying you're looking at polar opposites. It's like you've got a film that really, really did deserve for loads of people to go and watch it and buy it on DVD. I think it's made more money on DVD and Blu-ray than it ever did.
First time I bought on Blu-ray.
And it's gorgeous in Blu-ray. One of the first films I got on Blu-ray, and it's such a shame that films like that with strong storytelling, strong characters, didn't get recognition. When
But
you
don't
look at
you think-
Jupiter Ascending,
Yeah.
and everyone's already panned it because the acting is pretty bad.
But don't you think though, the irony of that plot and the script of it was so much similar to the Raid 2?
Dread.
Yeah.
Yes.
I didn't understand that.
Well,
There were
because
films
they-
that came out around the same time that had a very similar storyline.
What happens with that was that it was totally separate. They've been making both these films completely separately for a lot of time before they were released. Dread was filmed the way it was because of their budget.
Thank you for watching. We hope you can join us next time on the Little Red Block podcast. In the meantime, if you have any feedback, please email us on hello@littleredblock.com or tweet us on Little Red Block Tweets. See you soon.